But to this young man, it's worth a fortune, because he sees it as his ticket to riches, if overnight wealth would be within reach. At an institution with nearly 10 million customers and pockets that sent, he'd become a millionaire overnight. But his low-level position gives him no authority to deduct funds. Fortunately, he devises a plan. He swiftly codes a virus program and sends it to the bank president. The president opens it without suspicion. Ah Chong now controls the president's computer and stumbles upon the president's affair with a female employee. His next move, use the president's access to spread the virus bank-wide. Every terminal is now under Ah Chong's surveillance. He just needs to locate the administrator's workstation to access the main server. Then he can invisibly skim cents from every account. Soon, the admin notices the infection and enters his password to reboot unaware. This plays right into Ah Chong's trap. As he types, Ah Chong captures the credentials. Now for the magic trick via the admin's computer. Ah Chong breaches the central server. He deducts 1 cent from every account. In under 2 minutes, he's raked in over $1 million. But transferred it all to an account named Xiangxin Group. Stashing money here was both secure and untraceable. After executing the transfer, Ah Chong finally succeeded. But before he could celebrate, a sudden knock came at the door. Loan sharks were here to collect. Ah Chong's terminally ill father had racked up gambling debts, lying helpless in the hospital. So the loan sharks came after Ah Chong instead. Though he now had money, Ah Chong had no cash to repay, and getting caught meant another brutal beating. When 2 enforcers burst in, Ah Chong bolted to the balcony, but realized he'd left the keys inside.
Step on it.
But the enforcers were persistent. Soon they were chasing on motorcycles, pulling alongside. One drew a gun, demanding they stop. The driver wasn't backing down either. He floored it into oncoming traffic. The thugs swerved to avoid collisions, forced to brake hard. If he didn't pay today, he wouldn't make it out alive. But online transfers would leave a trail, and ATMs had daily withdrawal limits. So I'll have to withdraw cash from the bank. Kwong immediately contacted a nearby bank, claiming to be a Xiangxin Group employee who needed to handle urgent business, and requested large cash prepared up front. But the teller needed time, just as the enforcers closed in. The driver stomped on the gas, temporarily losing the pursuers. Kwong soon arrived at the bank. Though panicked, he forced himself to maintain composure. But when withdrawing cash, the teller demanded his employee ID. The teller's stern expression made Kwong fear exposure. Then the teller handed him the cash. Thankfully, a false alarm. Cash in hand, he bolted, calling him back, making Kwong break into cold sweat. Who takes this much cash without counting? Doesn't matter, Kwong shrugged. Banks don't make mistakes. The teller's doubts vanished instantly. Kwong sped off on his bike to report back. He rushed to the hospital, funding his father's surgery, securing timely medical care. After 8 hours of surgery, his father was finally out of danger. Staring at his father lying in the hospital bed, Ah Chong made a silent vow to never commit another illegal act again. But the very next day, a major incident struck his bank. News suddenly broke of the bank president's death. At the riverbank near the bank, clearly a homicide. Security swiftly locked down the entire building, announcing no one could leave until police identified the killer. Ah Chong knew the president's death wasn't his doing. And police would track him down. He'd become a murder suspect. The 4th floor server room could delete files, but his low-level clearance barred access. Cornered by mounting panic, then, as hope faded, an admin burst into the restroom, carelessly setting his briefcase down. But before the operation, Kwong had to disguise himself as a cleaner to avoid being recognized. After reaching the fourth floor, he didn't head straight to the server room, but first used his fingerprint to access the office, to disable the surveillance system in advance. That way, no one would know he'd been on the fourth floor. Despite this seemingly flawless plan, Kwong overlooked one detail. The security room also had access to the surveillance system, and security quickly noticed something was amiss. Kwong set a 15-minute timer for himself, knowing the system could only be disabled before automatically triggering an alarm. Next, he located the list of authorized server room personnel and selected an employee named Mark as his cover. Before cloning his access card, card in hand, Kwong rushed to the server room. With 10 minutes left, he fortunately made it. But a new problem arose. Among so many servers, which one was his target? With 8 minutes remaining, luck was on Kwong's side, as he quickly located the target server. After a swift operation, he uncovered the virus file. With conclusive evidence, security moved to arrest Mark, until a Jun intervened, testifying for him. Mark's been with me the whole time. He couldn't possibly have gone to the server room. Meanwhile, Ah Chong sensed intruders approaching, but needed more time to wipe the files. Panic consumed him. Just as guards were about to spot him, Ah Chong purged the data successfully. He bolted from the server room, prompting immediate, but they were seconds too late. So they launched an immediate staff sweep. Anyone missing from their post would be prime suspect. Soon, guards spotted Station 3 at reception was unmanned. With no hacker found, security refocused on Mark. They theorized gang involvement. Why else use Mark's access card? Mark countered that anyone with coding skills. The bank's sole employee with coding knowledge. She casually brought up the breach to Ah Chong. Studying his reaction, he stayed cool, showing no tells. Ah Jun felt guilty for being doubtful about friends. The doctor explained the surgery was successful. Ah Chong was desperate again. His stolen money was gone. Stealing now would be suicide. As despair set in, he noticed multiple bank logos on an ATM. Those logos revealed his father's only lifeline. His plan was simple: craft a new virus, then email it to 8 bank presidents simultaneously. They'd inevitably open it, letting him hijack their servers. Now, he controlled their systems. With over 80 million customers across these banks, skimming 1 cent each would net 8 million. But he couldn't deduct randomly, disguised as service charges to avoid detection. Otherwise, alarms would trigger. In under 2 minutes, Ah Chong raked in over 8 million. He vowed this was his last crime. No more legal acts. Unaware this would bring catastrophe. With the cash, Ah Chong cured his father's illness, bought him a sports car, and upgraded their rental to a mansion. They were living the high life, but their luxury was short-lived. During dinner, a rapid knocking erupted at their door. Chong opened the door to check, but a kick sent him sprawling the next second. The gang leader showed up uninvited, even though they'd paid their debt in full. Why was he causing trouble again? The gangster threatened his father, seeing his dad suffer. But the gang boss called it nonsense. Stealing from banks was impossible. Still, he offered Chong a chance to prove it. Show me how you steal from banks now. Fail, and I'll execute you. Timestamp merged with previous line. Calmly, Chong hacked a bank through quick maneuvers. He took the gangster's account number. Within 2 minutes, the crime boss received a massive transfer. Never knew you had these skills. But the gangster wasn't letting him go. He needed Chong to steal more. His crew took over Chong's villa, treating him like a while they dreamed of luxury. He found his dad, revealing the hidden gun. But as they moved, Chong raised the gun, only to realize he didn't know how to use it. Next moment, he grappled violently with the thug. Obviously, he's no match for him, and aims at the man's head. The thug sneers at the old man's gun handling, but the next second, the racking slide of the gun wipes the smirk off his face. Turns out the old man's full of surprises. Just like that, the father-son duo takes the crime boss's henchman hostage. To protect his man, the boss lets them retreat to the elevator. Inside, the father immediately teaches his son to shoot, vital for self-defense and danger. Soon they reach the underground parking lot. A fierce firefight erupts. The father's ammo runs dry. The boss sends his goon, but the duo vanishes from behind the car. Just then, a sports car bursts onto the scene. Ah Chong and his father at the wheel. To seize them, in a split-second move, the father executes a power slide, flinging the thug off before speeding away. Cheating death, the duo whoops in exhilaration. That gangster shootout was the thrill of a lifetime. But just as they think they're safe, the crime boss reappears. The boss is closing in fast. The father floors the accelerator, pushing speed to the limit, barely evading pursuit for now. Thugs knocked his father unconscious. But outgunned, he had no choice but to flee. Catch Ah Chong at all costs. Order the crime boss. Ah Chong barely escaped by ducking into an alley. Now his father was in the crime boss clutches. He had to rescue him fast, or he'd be tortured to death. He sought the crime boss rival, Ginger, a notorious underworld figure. With wealth, power, and ruthless efficiency, Ah Chong offered, "Help me save my father. To make you endless cash." Ginger demanded no cut, promising to free his father instead. Unaware of the looming conspiracy, Ah Chong didn't realize Ginger would change his life forever. To aid the rescue, Ah Chong located the cell. As he moved to escape, thugs spotted him. Crime boss chuckles menacingly. "Caught you," gloated the crime boss. "Work for me, or I'll blow the old man's brains out." Suddenly, armed men stormed in. Both sides instantly engaged in shooting. Seeing this, Ah Chong immediately fled with his father. The boss declared, "No cooperation? Then you die." As Ah Chong faced execution, a bullet suddenly blew the boss's head off. With no way back now, vowing to make her even richer, but she flatly rejected this money-making tool. Yet right after she left, before he could react, they hauled him into their car. They demanded the boss's killer's identity. When he refused, they resorted to torture, suffocating him with a towel, then waterboarding him violently. Despite unbearable agony, Ah Chong didn't betray Sister Jean. Suddenly, Sister Jean appeared. She'd staged the whole interrogation to test Ah Chong's loyalty. He passed. In the following weeks, his hacking earned Sister Jean millions, but shockingly, her demands grew insatiable. She ordered him to steal $1 billion in 1 week. An impossible task. Frequent hacks would be required, drastically increasing detection risk. As Ah Chong, unbeknownst to him, the bank had already identified his activities. They could trace his IP address and arrest him. Right after Ah Chong, bank security immediately pinpointed the criminal, but unexpectedly, they arrested not Ah Chong, but a senior bank. Turns out Ah Chong had anticipated being caught, so he changed the IP address beforehand, making Ma his unwitting scapegoat. Seizing this chance, Ah Chong quit his bank job, claiming he needed to care for his father, while actually dedicating himself to stealing for Sister Jean. With plans to split the stolen money equally with her. Flush with cash, Ah Chong transformed completely, living large with his father and buddy Huang Mao. Luxury cars, designer watches, the epitome of cool. But money couldn't buy everything. One thing still eluded Ah Chong: true love. Only to be gently let down with a classic. Crushed, he couldn't comprehend what he lacked. Later that night, Jean approached Mark, confessing her own feelings for him. But Mark replied, "You don't know the real me. Though I care for you, there are things I can't reveal. We can't be together now." Jean struggled to grasp his meaning, but recognized this as his gentle rejection. Heartbroken, she fled. As a motorcycle assassin emerged, opening miraculously, Jean escaped unharmed. He fled the scene. But under questioning, Jean had no idea why Mark was. Police then showed her Mark's apartment, completely ransacked. Clearly, Mark wasn't just an ordinary bank clerk. He must have crossed someone dangerous, leading to his murder. Meanwhile, Ah Chong saw news of Mark's shooting. He instantly recognized Sister Jean as the killer. Confronting her, he demanded, "Why kill Mark?" "Mark was a threat," Sister Jean replied. "He could have exposed the Penny scheme any day. Not eliminating him would have caused bigger problems." Ah Chong realized she was more ruthless than he'd imagined. Refusing more bloodshed, he declared, "I'm out. No more jobs for you." Sister Jean threatened Ah Jean's life, but Ah Chong wouldn't cave that easily. He recruited thugs with his ally Yellow Hair to assassinate her. Intel revealed Sister Jean dined daily on pig's trotter noodles at a corner shop. Ah Chong stormed in with hitmen. Sister Jean remained unervingly calm. But when he pulled the trigger, click, empty chamber. Yellow Hair had betrayed him. Death seems certain now. Elsewhere, a nurse slips into Mark's room. He's alive. Extract him. Grab 10 man-eating rats, 8 pounds each. Bag them. Then sack the guy's head. Not your average rats. These devour humans. Realizing he still held exploitable value. To save his life, Ah Chong disclosed his bank money-stealing techniques to Sister Jean, while she recorded every step with her camera. But Sister Jean proved treacherous and sent Blondie to take Ah Chong to the wilderness once his usefulness expired, to eliminate him. Resting atop a brick.
Sister.
Ah Chong fled desperately with Blondie in hot pursuit. A car slammed into him. Moments later, Blondie breathed his last. In that instant, Ah Chong realized all this bloodshed stemmed from his own greed. His choices had cost lives. Then a bold idea struck him. Sister Jean's presidential campaign. Her rise to power would doom ordinary citizens. To atone, Ah Chong vowed to stop Sister Jean. Where he'd delete the virus file to prevent further thefts. He stormed the bank, M4 in hand. Taking a hostage forced security to comply. Ah Chong kicked the hostage down the stairs and bolted toward the server room. Guards gave chase, firing shots as they ran. Ah Chong took a bullet and ducked under a desk. Ah Jean discovered her boss was Sister Jean's mole, using the bank to launder money for Sister Jean. Even the deceased bank president was her underling. He threatened to expose her after a dispute over the cut, so Sister Jean had him eliminated. Meanwhile, police swarmed the scene, surrounding the bank and preparing to storm it. Sister Jean, mid-campaign, caught wind of this. Ah Chong had infiltrated the server room, but as he ready to wipe the files, Ah Jean burst in, training her gun on him. He pleaded, "I'll surrender after exposing Sister Jean's crimes, or more innocent people will die." Ah Jean remained unconvinced when Ah Chong's father's voice echoed through the room. He'd rushed there, knowing his son committed crimes, to fund his medical treatment. "Stand tall," he urged, "face your mistakes. I'll be there for you through this." Ah Jean finally saw the truth and vowed to help expose Sister Jean. With time running out, Ah Chong typed frantically, but as the delete command loaded, Enforcer storm. A three-way brawl erupted instantly. Outmatched, Ah Chong and Ah Jean were quickly subdued. Just as the guard raised his gun to shoot Ah Jean, Ah Chong sprang up and took the bullet for her. Just then, SWAT teams swarmed into the server room, forcing the guard to surrender. Ah Chong was rushed into an ambulance. His father wept seeing his son shot, but instead of going to a hospital, he was taken to a secret facility. Waking up, he saw people typing away at computers. As Ah Chong puzzled over this, a tattooed man approached. Shockingly, it was Mark.